What are linking verbs? In this video, we're going to look at what linking verbs are. Linking verbs identify or describe the subject. Let's look at some examples. In this sentence, Alan is the subject, and he's identified as a vampire. The linking verb is. Here's another one. He is thirsty. This time it describes the subject, which is he. So a linking verb identifies or describes the subject. The most common linking verb is the verb to be, which you'll see in its different forms, of course, like am, is, are, was, etc. The linking verb is a bit like an equal sign. Let's look at some examples. This lesson is interesting. So that's the verb to be, and it's like an equal sign. This lesson equals interesting. This lesson will be short. Again, a bit like an equal sign. This lesson equals something short. Here's a real life example. She got her looks from her father. He was a plastic surgeon. It identifies him. Other common linking verbs relate to the 5 senses, like to feel, to see, to hear, to smell, and to taste. Let's look at some examples. She looks amazing, or she is amazing. Very similar. The dog smells bad. The fabric will feel soft. Some other common linking verbs are the verb to seem, to grow, to remain, to appear, or to become. Let's have a look at a couple of examples of these. She appears upset about the announcement. So she is upset about the announcement. It describes the subject. It always seems impossible until it's done. So again, the linking verb seems describes the subject, it, as impossible. That's a quote by Nelson Mandela. Now here's a common mistake with linking verbs. People know that a verb needs to be modified by an adverb. So when they see a verb like smells, which is a linking verb, they say something like, your hair smells amazingly. But actually, that's not the case. It's your hair smells amazing. And the reason why is because smells here is a linking verb. And linking verbs describe the subject. So here the subject is your hair, which needs to be described with an adjective, not an adverb. And that's the difference between a linking verb and an action verb. And we'll talk a little bit about action verbs in a minute. Another example. This chili tastes wonderfully. That's wrong. Tastes is a linking verb. It should be, this chili tastes wonderful. The subject needs to be described with an adjective or identified with another noun. So here's a warning. Some linking verbs can also be action verbs. Let's go back to that example. She looked amazing. Now that's correct. In this example, looked is a linking verb. She looked for bargains. Now, in this example, it's not a linking verb. So if you remember, a linking verb tells us what the subject is. It describes it or identifies it. An action verb tells us what the subject does. So if we look at this example, she looked for bargains. It's what she is doing. If you look at the top example, it's a bit like that equal sign. She looked amazing. It tells us what the subject is. Here is another example. The dog smells bad. Linking verb. The dog smells badly. Now, it's a little bit of a contrived example, but the bottom one means the dog is bad at smelling, like there's something wrong with his nose, for example. It tells us what the dog is doing, so it's an action verb. Here's another example. She will appear upset tomorrow. That's a linking verb. She will appear suddenly. That's what she'll do, so that's an action verb. So just be aware that some verbs can be linking verbs or action verbs, depending on the specific meaning. Let's do a summary. A linking verb identifies or describes the subject. It's like an equal sign. The most common one is the verb to be in its various forms. Verbs relating to the 5 senses can be linking verbs. And other common linking verbs are verbs like to seem, to grow, to remain, to appear and become. That's all. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out some of our other videos, lessons and tests on grammarmonster.com. We're also on Twitter and Facebook.